Leisure City is what I would consider to be a hidden gem in Homestead, Florida. And I say this after having lived in multiple different parts of Miami and Leisure City being one of them. So I've seen firsthand the potential that this neighborhood has that probably not everybody else has seen and that I'll be sharing with you today. I'm Angie Blanco, a realtor here in Miami, Florida with One Path Realty at eXp. And in this video, we're going to dive really deep into Leisure City and I'll show you things like where exactly Leisure City is located, what the neighborhood looks like, the kinds of homes here and their prices, why Leisure City has so much potential, some fun things to do close by, and most importantly, who should consider moving here or investing here. I will also give you a little bonus insider perk about Leisure City at the end of this video, so stick around if you want to hear about that. Leisure City is a small neighborhood about 30 miles south from Miami and just east of Homestead, bordered by 280th Street to the north, 308th Street to the south, and the Florida Turnpike and US 1 to the east and west. So moving on to what the neighborhood looks like, the kinds of homes here, and their prices. This is a working or middle class residential neighborhood with primarily single family homes. Throughout the neighborhood, we'll find parks like the Live Like Bella Park, which has a baseball field, a playground, basketball courts, a walking trail, and a beautiful lake. Modelo Park, which also has basketball courts, a soccer field, and tennis courts. And a few others like Palmland Park, Leisure Park, and Seminole Wayside Park, which in total are quite a few for such a small area. The typical home here is a little older, most of them having been built between the 50s and early 80s, and the typical style of them is usually a one-story concrete block home on about a 7,500 square foot lot. It wasn't until just recently that other types of construction like multifamily or duplex properties started being built here as well. And over the years, a lot of these older homes have been substantially remodeled with upgrades from top to bottom with things like new roofs, kitchens, bathrooms, impact windows and doors, plumbing, electrical, and the list goes on. And even though that's the case, and it's a great sign for a neighborhood to see home improvements and residents having that pride of home ownership, there are still so many properties here still in their original conditions or close to it that need a whole lot of work and that are great opportunities for a lot of different types of buyers like investors, DIYers looking for a passion project, or first-time home buyers because of their affordability and potential compared to other areas. Home prices here range from about the mid 300s for one of these more fixer-upper type smaller homes all the way up to about $750,000 for something like a brand new spacious 2019 built home with a pool like this one, which actually at the time of recording this video is currently the highest closed sale in Leisure City, which is kind of crazy compared to what $750,000 gets you in most other parts of Miami. It definitely won't be a new construction. There are also homes here from the early 2000s to the late 2010s of 1 to 2 stories that can range from the mid 500s to about 700,000 depending on size, year built, finishes, and so on. But anyway, looking at the most common kind of home here, it would currently be priced from about $460,000 to $480,000. This is a good example of what we can expect to see in this price range and in this current market. This house is in the Palmland Homes subdivision of Leisure City, which was developed in the late 60s and is a good example of the kinds of renovations that we're seeing here over and over again, like a new roof, renovated kitchen, bathrooms, fresh paint, and so on. And like this one, there are many others, like this other property in the 21st Century Home subdivision of Leisure City that was developed in the mid 70s and that also has upgrades like a newer roof and that's been touched up over the years with a newer kitchen, bathrooms, fresh paint, and so forth. And so within Leisure City itself, there are many different subdivisions that were built at different times over the years. Some are even still being built to this day, like the newer subdivision of Campbell Estates, where we can find a 2021 home for under $600,000. Again, prices that are just difficult to come across in most other parts of Miami for a decent move-in ready home and much less a new construction home. Okay, so moving on to why Leisure City has so much potential. Well, apart from the fact that the home prices are still so affordable and there are still so many opportunities to get a great deal, especially in today's market and especially in this particular area, the Leisure City neighborhood also has countless unchangeable characteristics that almost guarantee it'll become one of Miami's top neighborhoods. Mark my words. Some of the characteristics that make it so desirable are number one, its proximity to the Florida Turnpike. Leisure City is right off of exit 5 on the Turnpike, which makes commuting to and from Miami and other cities so easy and so convenient. Number two, it's only about a 45-minute drive to the Florida Keys, a tourist attraction that brings in millions of travelers every single year and a place where just a trailer home is worth over $500,000. So land and property values are exponentially higher. Number three is that there's also a Baptist hospital just outside of Leisure City, which continues continuously brings in medical workforce to the area, and an obvious sign of this is the amount of hotels that there are around the hospital, like the Hilton Garden, Hampton Inn, and Town Place Suites. And number 4 is the Homestead Air Base just east of Leisure City, which also brings in military workforce to the area. And both of these establishments especially can contribute to raising property values for reasons like high demand for housing, neighborhood reputation, and improved infrastructure. So next are some fun and local things to do close by, which by the way also contributes to the growth and potential of Leisure City. Starting with the commercial shopping centers and plazas that have been built and continue to be built here. My personal favorite is the Homestead Pavilion Shopping Center because of the Sprouts Farmers Market that is just an absolute joy to shop at. The Target, because who doesn't love Target? And some of the other stores too, like TJ Maxx, Petco for the pups, and Old Navy. There are also restaurants in this plaza like Chipotle, Buffalo Wild Wings, Raising Cane's, and Dr. Limon, where you can find arguably one of the best ceviches, at least in my opinion. In addition to this shopping center, there are also others in the area with places like Publix, 24-hour fitness gym, a brand new Leon Medical Center, racetrack gas stations, Starbucks, Chili's, and other popular restaurants, and so much more. So there's no question the area is being highly developed. Expanding out a little further outside of the immediate Leisure City area, there are also many other attractions that Leisure City benefits from, like the Florida Keys Outlet Mall with stores like Coach, Gap, Nike, and Adidas. There's Robert Is Here, which is a famous family-owned market with delicious local and exotic fruit, honey, veggies, and milkshakes that can easily create 20-minute lines. And we can't forget about the cutest farm animals that you can feed lettuce to. There's also the Fruit and Spice Park, which is a gorgeous 37-acre tropical botanical garden with hundreds of species of fruit, vegetables, and spices and herbs. There's Schnebley's Winery and Brewery, which is a restaurant and tavern with wine and beer made from tropical fruit and is totally off the beaten path, which I think is really cool. And so many other fun and unique things to do close by that probably don't get enough credit, but that can certainly influence the desirability of this area. Lastly, let's talk about who should move here or invest here. Also, don't forget I'm going to give you that little insider perk at the end of this video, so don't miss that. So like we briefly touched on while we were talking about the homes here, this is a great area for first-time home buyers or buyers looking for a well-priced single-family home. If you're currently living in an apartment or a townhouse and are looking for more space, your own yard, your own house that doesn't share any walls with your neighbors, then this is a wonderful area to look into because of the affordability of the homes and all of the improvements that are being made in the area that'll naturally increase your property value too over time. Depending on what your budget is and what you're looking for, you'll have options of either an older home or a newer home, but both at very reasonable prices. And whichever option you go with, you can bet that your money will go much farther here than in other parts of Miami-Dade. So you'll potentially buy more house for much less. Also, if you're an investor and are looking for either a fix and flip or a buy and hold to renovate and rent out, this is also a great area for you, especially if you're a cash buyer. I've seen crazy deals happen here where the list price is literally slashed when a buyer comes in with cash. Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, the bonus insider perk about Leisure City. Here it is. So in casual conversation, it's pretty common for Leisure City to be referred to as Homestead, but it's technically not part of Homestead because it doesn't belong to the proper city of Homestead, which has its perks, and I'll tell you why right now. Since Leisure City is technically not part of Homestead proper, residents here don't have to pay the additional property taxes that City of Homestead residents have to pay, which can be thousands of dollars extra every single year. Leisure City is actually only part of unincorporated Miami-Dade County, which means just that. It's unincorporated. It doesn't also belong to any specific city like the City of Homestead, the City of Coral Gables, the City of South Miami, and so forth. Homes in those proper cities have to pay their county taxes plus their additional city taxes, which can add up quick. But don't get me wrong, there are also benefits to living in a proper city as well, which you might actually prefer. Take a look for yourself and check out the beautiful city of Coral Gables. With everything that it offers, you might actually think that it's worth it. Happy watching, and I will see you on the next one.